Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight we are getting breaking news out of Pima County, Arizona in the Nancy Guthrie case about the letters that have recently came out in the Nancy Guthrie case. Reportedly, they are fake. We got a lot to talk about on the other side of this. Let's get started.
Let's go! The sun going down, but we're just getting started. Stars in our eyes and a fire in our hearts. Small town roads and a big dream rising. Everybody here got a brand new spark. Got the grill fired up, got the speakers loud, got the whole crew waving from the crowd. From the front porch lights to the city streets, we're standing tall on freedom's beat. Raise your hands if you came to feel alive. One nation, one heartbeat, shining bright. Tonight we don't whisper, no, we roar. Like the fuse, let it soar. We're gonna light it up tonight. Like fireworks will cross the sky. Red, white, blue, and feeling alive. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Sing it loud, let freedom ring. Everybody feel that American dream. Hands up high, we're burning bright. Yeah, we're gonna light it up tonight. Whoa, light it up tonight. Whoa, let the sparks fly. Whoa, red, white, blue, we ride. Coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Kick back, laugh loud, let the good times roll. Got that summer heat down in our soul. Neighbors waving, kids running wild. Everybody's got that freedom smile. We remember the brave, we honor the fight. For every flag flying in the porch light. Different stories, same heartbeat drum. When the anthem hits, we all become one. Raise your glass if you believe in chasing dreams and staying free. Tonight we don't back down, no way. Let the whole world hear us say, we're gonna light it up tonight. Like fireworks across the sky. Red, white, blue, and feeling alive. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Sing it loud, let freedom ring. Everybody feel that American dream. Hands up high, we're burning bright. Yeah, we're gonna light it up tonight. Boom, boom, hear the sky explode. Clap, clap, let the whole world know we came to stand, we came to shine. This is our moment, this is our time. Boom, boom, from the hills to the coast. Clap, clap, give a freedom toast. Turn it up, don't turn it down. Clutch crew's taking over town. Red, white, blue, we're proud, we're loud, we're breaking through. Red, white, blue, Clutch crew, this one's for you. We're gonna light it up tonight. Like fireworks across the sky. Red, white, blue, and feeling alive. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Sing it loud, let freedom ring. Everybody feel that American dream. Hands up high, we're burning bright. Yeah, we're gonna light it up tonight. Whoa, light it up tonight. Whoa, let the sparks fly. Whoa, red, white, blue, we ride. Coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Yeah, we're gonna light it up tonight. Woo! Turn it up, turn it up. Let the whole sky know. Clutch crews rolling in with that firework glow. Red on the left, blue on the right. Stars in the air and we're burning bright. Got the flags flying high, got the music loud. Everybody stand up, we're a freedom crowd. From the mountain roads to the city lights, we came to celebrate America tonight. This ain't just a party, this is pride in motion. Big spark energy, coast to coast in motion. Hands to the sky, hearts wide open. Like that fuel talking, the speakers shaking, cold drinks sweating in the whole block waking, kids running wild with the glow sticks on, grandma clapping while they play our song. Small town heroes, big dream believers, hard work hearts and Friday night dreamers, different roads but the same heartbeat, everybody moving to the freedom beat. We remember the ones who gave their all, the bravest stood when they heard the call. So tonight when the fireworks climb, we light up the sky and we honor their time. Boom goes the sky, let the whole world hear it. We got that 4th of July spirit. Raise it up, don't let it fall. Tonight we're standing proud and tall. With fire in the dark, with stars in the night. We red, white, blue, and shining bright. Let freedom sing, let the sparks fly. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. We're alive tonight, under freedom lights. Let the whole sky shine. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Clap your hands, stomp your feet, feel that thunder in the street. Wave that flag, raise that flame, everybody shout the name. Clutch crew, louder now, let freedom shake the ground. Clutch crew, we won't hide, we came to light the night. Red, white, boom, light up the room. Red, white, boom, freedom's in the tune. Red, white, boom, stars over you. Red, white, boom, clutch crew coming through. We're fire in the dark, we're stars in the night. We're red, white, blue, and shining bright. Let freedom sing, let the sparks fly. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. We're fire in the dark, we're stars in the night. We're red, white, blue, and shining bright. Let freedom sing, let the sparks fly. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Oh, 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 we're alive tonight, under freedom lights. Let the
Make him
whole
Diana.
sky shine. We're coming in clutch on the 4th of July. Turn it up, let the whole sky know. Clutch crews rolling in with that firework glow. Red, white, blue, we're burning bright. Yeah, we came to light it up tonight.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. There's a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. And your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is July 1st, 2026. It is currently 6:09 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Happy Canada Day to my Canadians out there. Hopefully you're having a great day. And we are getting ready for the 250th birthday of America in just a few days. But tonight we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, and very interesting what's coming out in just the last little bit. The FBI says the notes were fake. So what's real? You know what I mean? What is real? My mic is off. Perfect. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, there we go. We got it. There we go. My mic was off. Apologize for that. So in just the last little bit, the FBI is claiming these notes were fake. And what does that mean? J. Cole, yeah, I had them made. We got it fixed. We got the mic fixed. Sorry about that. Sometimes it switches over on its own. I don't know why it does that, but it just does. I have a mic on my camera and it goes to that mic. All right, guys, before we get started, if you would be so kind and please do me a big favor, hit that thumbs up button. Would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you would share this live out, hit that share button, copy that link, drop it in any of your favorite social media. And sorry, I'm trying to fix some things here. Also, if you would consider hyping this video, you get 3 hypes a week here on YouTube. If you don't use it, you lose it. And you have to do it after the live stream on one of your mobile devices, your phone, your tablet, whatever that is. Mish says TMZ said earlier that their FBI sources said that they still can say if they were fake or not. Well, we're going to get into all of that. I don't know. I mean, it's really weird. You know, we spoke about this yesterday about there was these 2 ransom letters in the beginning, and it seems like, you know, well, it doesn't seem like they no longer contacted Savannah back once they put that letter out. Then they were quiet for a bit, and then these 2 letters came out. And tomorrow, Derek Calla, he goes to court. Very interesting timing. Very interesting things that was, you know, said in this letter. Still not willing to show, but we're going to get into it. Hope says now Harvey Levin is saying his sources is saying they are more than likely not fake. He's saying that's the thing about this. That's the crazy thing about this case is we can't get feels like we can't get a solid source. Period. You know what I mean? It's really weird because everyone is saying everything pretty much. In my opinion, it may come back to a family member. Could. Possible. We don't know. Trish, good to see you, dear. Everyone said the second one sounded like it was done by a female, correct? Which made the alleged writer to send a new email saying he is not female. Yes. So maybe they are doing it to drive someone over the edge. They may be doing this as a reverse psychology, right? This is fake, you know, even though they may think it's not. They could be. There is nothing that would surprise me in this. Zilch. Nothing that would surprise me in this. It is Hope. It really is. If you do like him or not, I think he's being legitimate. Absolutely. I absolutely agree, Goose. Absolutely agree. Hey, Carmelita, good to see you. Quincy, good to see you, my friend. Perhaps the FBI is trying to piss off the ransom letter. Yes, by insulting them by saying they're fake and making them F up. I think the TMZ letters are real. I found them pretty believable as well. We'll just have to see. Happy birthday, Ruby. Is it Ruby's birthday? Mods, make sure I sing happy birthday to Miss Ruby here in a little bit. Happy birthday, darling. Y'all say happy birthday to Ruby. I thought the FBI does not cheer him, but they usually don't. But again, what is up with this new, them usually not sharing info? They told us more about the letter, and now they're saying this isn't real. Simply Real says there was no ransom letter until after the family put out the narrative of being a kidnapping. Got a point? You got a point? You sure do. You got a point. Lots of good points here. All right, guys. So let's get to it. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, share the live stream out, all of that good stuff. So this is from the Desert News, and just coming out just a little bit ago. FBI says Nancy Guthrie ransom letter notes were all fake. Were all faked. And we got some videos we're going to get into and all that. A lot to talk about. I'm going to try to do another live tonight as well after this. I was planning on going on Kick today, and I just didn't get to, so I'm going to try to. Hey, Ginger, good to see you. Nick, Ruby, I love you guys. 3 Pugs, how you doing? Hope, Jennifer, Tony, Pam, Smiley, Phyllis, how you doing? Carmelita, Hamatude, Brandy, always in India, Leslie, keeping it real, Adele. Yeah, all right, here we go. The FBI has ruled out the 3 ransom notes and messages concerning the Nancy Guthrie's abduction case were fake. Guthrie is the mother of today a co-host Savannah Guthrie. The 84-year-old was abducted from her Tucson, Arizona home in the early hours of February 1st. In the months since her disappearance, no official suspect has been identified. Reuters was the first to report the federal investigation ruled the messages related to her case to be fake communication. Let me see if I can get that. Oh, damn, you gotta pay for it? Okay, sorry, I was looking at Reuters there. The fake messages include 2 ransom notes received shortly after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance in February, as well as a recent note claiming to know the kidnapper's identity. So they are saying, holy shit on a shingle. What? Reuters. I'm Appalachian, it's hard to say. Reuters. They're saying the first notes and the recent notes are fake. What? Hey, War, good to see you, baby. Thank you, user. Good to see you, my friend. TMZ just released a video saying the first notes were real. You just don't know fucking what to believe anymore. It's so weird. I'm sorry, but if someone tells me Nancy Guthrie's Apple Watch is laying on the floor at the foot of her bed, I'm gonna more likely believe that. Yeah, I can't say Reuters and I can't say rural. Thank you so much for the gift, Rescue. Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. So many, Susie Q. So many. It's nuts. Hate to say it, Holly says, but in my opinion, this is all BS to cover up the truth. And Kaela knows more than they're saying. It feels weirder than ever, in my opinion. So these fake messages include 2 ransom notes received shortly after the Nancy Guthrie disappearance in February, as well as the recent notes claiming the kidnapper to know the kidnapper's identity. Quote, none of the ransom notes are believed to be genuine, end quote. An FBI official told Reuters, whatever the hell. The official was not publicly identified amid the ongoing investigation. FBI Director Kash Patel was asked about the Reuters report on the messages and the unrelated press conference on Wednesday. The director declined the comment, saying the investigation was led by state authorities and the FBI was assisting Roll Per People magazine. The FBI official said the first 2 ransom notes came from the same sender. The first was sent by TMZ demanding millions in cryptocurrency, and the letter claimed that Nancy had died soon after being abducted. Okay. All right. Now,
let's go to TMZ, because something is very wrong here. Very wrong, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. What's this? Okay, so 5 hours, Harvey does a video from TMZ, and he says, Nancy Guthrie update, the ransom notes are not fake. Okay. I don't get this. I don't even know where to go with this anymore, guys. Wendy, thank you so much for the gift, babes. If I miss y'all's gifts, I promise to you I will get to them at the end of the live stream. Let me drop the link here. Mods, if you could drop TMZ, if you would be so kind. Full credit. TMZ. Just bear with me. I'm going to put this in the description or I will forget, and I don't want to forget about it. Okay. Here we go. Okay, got it. Okay, so here is Harvey, and he is saying in all caps, not fake. Not fake. I don't know. Like I told you, my source in Pima County the other day, it's like they're not even talking to, anyone even in the office there, it seems like. Susie, thank you so much for the gift, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Now, Harvey has obviously been in contact with the FBI. Let's see what he has to say. They're fake, they're not fake, they're fake. Who knows? It depends on what time of day it is. Feels like that. Really does. Does feel like that. Okay, here we go.
Reuters came out with a story today saying that they have FBI sources who say that the FBI has determined that the two ransom notes, alleged ransom notes, one of which we received along with two Tucson television stations, and a second which one of those TV stations received, were not legitimate. Okay,
Which is what we just read, that I think it was the Desert News, and they were getting, from what I understand, they were saying they were citing Reuters, and this is what Harvey is saying. Reuters was the first reporting allegedly today that they said that they were fake. Now, again, it's really rare for the FBI to say anything. Yes, will the real note please stand up? Exactly, Deborah. Exactly. I think Harvey thinks the notes are real, but are they? Who the heck knows?
And also that the demand letters that we had been receiving from somebody demanding 1 Bitcoin in return for saying who the kidnappers are, identifying them, that too.
Okay, we're going to do a poll. We're going to do a poll here and see what you guys think. If you think that the new notes are real, do you think the new letters, I'll put letters, are real? Let's see here. Yes, no. It's either going to be a yes or no. If you're unsure, either put a 1 in chat for yes, put a 2 in chat for no. And if you're unsure, go with, hey, Sandra, good to see you, my dear. Now, remember, this is who has been, in communication with Harvey. I have tended to believe that they are real, more real. But again, I don't think the ransom letters were ever ransom letters. But we'll, don't know. Miss Cassie Rocco says, this is the craziest thing ever, but look at how they are distracting us with the case with no real leads in the case. See, I think they do have a lot. I do think they have a lot, but why are they just now telling us? That's what I want to know. Why are they just now telling us that more about these letters when they wouldn't tell us in the beginning? I think it's a tactic, in my opinion. I think they are trying to potentially piss this person off and get them to talk, right? That's what I think. All right, we'll do some reverse psychology. These aren't real. We'll piss you off and see if you'll make a mistake or more mistakes.
Is not legitimate. So we decided that we would pursue this and see if in fact this is real, that they've discounted it. It's not what we had heard, but it was possible. So we made calls. So I am going to tell you that I spoke with two people in the FBI, one of whom is involved in the investigation, one of whom is an official. And the official...
by the way, they did drop the charges on the streamers out there who were protesting in Nancy's case, and I'm glad that they did, but they shouldn't have been arrested in the first place, in my opinion. So I'm really glad that no matter if you, again, agree with them or disagree with the streamers, I find it that in my opinion, we should always support a protest, just for the mere fact that one day we may want to protest about something and you don't want to be shut down for that, because the whole point of protest is someone doesn't agree, right? Yep, they dropped Alex's as well. Sure did. Yep. You're not the only one. I don't think Harvey's lying. I really don't, in my opinion.
In the FBI, who asked, I don't use this person's name, said this: it is more likely than not that the two ransom notes are real. Further in that conversation, this person said, they are more legitimate than not. That's a quote. Now, they haven't determined it is for sure real, but they definitely have not determined it is for sure fake. And as for the demand letters that we've been getting, where somebody is asking for 1 Bitcoin, they say...
So always, like, they weren't sure the other day if they were real or not. Reuters is saying, I hope I'm saying that right, Reuters is saying that they're not real. Harvey's saying that he's not saying they're real, but he's not saying, the FBI is not saying to him that they're fake. That's what I gather out of it. Right? You're late again. Yeah. Yep. What the hell does that mean? More legitimate than not. That is a play on words. It means fake. You never know with the media nowadays, in my opinion, because they may, this, again, to me, this could be a tactic that Reuters, in my opinion, is putting out there saying, yeah, this is fake, and Harvey's saying, no, it's not. And that just gets, in my opinion, this person writing this letter saying, okay, let me prove it to you, mother chicken. Right? So you never know that they could be even working together. I'm not saying they are, but you never know.
It is
In my
less
opinion,
likely
allegedly.
that those letters are real, but they have not discounted that either. So I think this goes to the legitimacy, really, of the ransom notes, because that's really what's important here. We have told you before that we had as many as 5 FBI agents on phone calls at the same time with our IT team, trying to find out who sent these ransom notes or these alleged ransom notes. And they have not been able to do that. We are told today that they are still pursuing those 2 notes, the 2 alleged ransom notes. They have not determined, I want to repeat, they're real, but they have definitely not determined that they're not. And they lean more toward legit than not legit. Now, the official I talked to said, look, this is a big organization, and there are multiple agents on this case. And if you talk to all of them, their opinions are going to vary. And so it depends on who you talk to. And that seems real enough that...
Okay. Now, I gotta be honest with you. With Harvey saying that, it kind of makes me, I don't want to say discouraged, but it makes me a little discouraged. Either they are keeping this really close to the vest, really, really close to the vest, because it is such a high profile case, or they don't know where they're going with this case, in my opinion. Because he says it's who you talk to, here. And again, it feels like if they knew, they would be all kind of heading in one direction. Right? Justice, Juices has not been dropped? That is really fucked up. You think so, Dave? I don't think it's cold. I really don't. Court is tomorrow. I cannot wait for court tomorrow. Kara, thank you so much for the gift, my dear. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for your support, my dear. Yeah. I think that's crazy. Part of me thinks it's to shut down the expedited. Really? I don't think it's cold at all. But just what he says right here, just kind of...
There are multiple agents on this case. And if you talk to all of them, their opinions are going to vary. And so it depends on who you talk to. And that seems real enough that not everybody would agree. But the official position of the FBI is they have not
15th.
Discounted these 2 ransom
I'm going to do a live
notes.
hopefully tonight.
So the reason I think this is important is that you look at the first note where they make that demand of $4 million, and then the second, then they say if you don't meet the deadline, it goes to $6 million, and if you don't pay the $6 million by the deadline, we will kill Nancy Guthrie. And then the second note that the Tucson station received, we didn't. They don't ask for any money. They just inform Savannah Guthrie and her family that Nancy had died. And that seems to be why Savannah came out almost the next day and said, look, we
Yep.
will pay you money to know where our mother
Yep.
is. In
Yep.
other
Yep.
words, to bring
Exactly.
her body back. And it now kind of makes sense. The reason she said that is because that second letter did not ask for any money. It was almost like, you know, these kidnappers were not banking on the.
Right. It was, she's alive. We want our money. Then she's dead. Sorry. But again, I don't know. The thing about it is if they were, the whole reason, this gets me frustrated. The whole reason, if this was about a damn ransom letter or about money for them to get money with kidnapping her, they would still want money if she's dead with information. But they just got quiet after that. Hey, darling, good to see you. I'm very concerned they can't trace any of these emails. What if they are making our country? That's very concerning. Well, that, I mean, the FBI can do things, and so can the CIA, but it works differently. You know what I mean?
The fact that Nancy Guthrie would die in their watch, freaked out, didn't ask for anything, and just went underground. And she's saying, no, we will pay you, but they have never to be heard from again. So that's kind of the bottom line to this, which is the official position of the FBI.
Good question. Will the LD warrant ever be released? According to Luke, he still hasn't even seen the warrant. Or last time this was reported, he said he hadn't seen the warrants, which is very strange to me. A lot of times they won't, I mean, they're supposed to show you at least some, like why they're going in there, but they won't release it a lot of times because they don't want them to get spooked as well. I think it's to hurt Savannah. Yeah, I don't think it's an obsession with Savannah. That's for sure. But it could be to hurt her. It sure could. Sure could. Thought the neighbor said he saw the warrant. I didn't see that. Did anybody else see that? I didn't see that. Luke's attorney was complaining about not seeing the warrant. FBI could have not said. The FBI could have not said they cannot trace it. Only Harvey is saying that they could know in building a case. Yeah. The ransom was a little too late for me to believe they wanted money. Well, I mean, the first letters came out the 3rd or the 4th, but that's pretty late for a ransom letter. Even 24, 48 hours or so after Nancy was abducted, that's really late for a ransom.
Is those ransom notes are more likely than not real, but they still don't know, and they are still
true.
Looking at those notes. And the demand letters, less so. They would not give me a 70-30 or anything like that, but merely less likely that.
Yeah, that makes no sense. The neighbors see Luke Staley's warrant, but Luke and his attorney saying it's not. They haven't seen him.
Are legit.
That's the thing about this case. It's so frustrating. There's just reporting on every end of it, and there is no real direction.
Than the ransom notes. So that's where we are right now. And where we are right now, frankly, is where we've been the last 4 months, which is the FBI just doesn't know who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie.
I don't believe that. I believe there's gotta be more, in my opinion. TMZ did another thing earlier here by Bodies uncovered at Nancy Guthrie's tip burial site. TMZ in the know.
It's been 5 long months.
Okay. Are they talking about, hold on, let me get a
25 unmarked
give me
graves.
a second. Let me see a summary here. This might be about the 20 bodies that they found while they were searching in Mexico. The video reports ongoing search for Nancy Guthrie, who has been missing for 5 months following an anonymous tip. A volunteer group in Mexico, called Looking for Hearts, has been searching near a remote desert. Okay. Yeah. They had found about 20 bodies last time I had heard about that. So very, very interesting. Okay, so we're going to move on here and want to talk about this. When was this? Give me a second, guys, as I pull this up. Let's see what Brian's reporting on right now. Let's see what he says. Let me drop Brian's link here and add him to the description. Full credit. Brian Enton. Okay. Guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, sharing out the live stream, doing all that good stuff. Okay. All right, we got Brian in the description now for the replay crew. Make sure you sub up to our friend Brian. Let's see what he says here. See what his sources are saying. Okay. Y'all ready for this? DNA expert on BE. Really good. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Report out from Reuters, Reuters news agency.
Reuters is the ones that first put this out. I think they put it out about 9 o'clock Eastern this morning.
Who is reporting that they have a source saying that the FBI has determined that the ransom notes, that all of the ransom notes essentially.
Zoe, thank you for your gift, my dear. Appreciate you very much. Very kind of you.
Connected to the Nancy Guthrie case are not real, which is interesting. I don't have.
Well, who hated the family so bad that they wanted to do this to the mom? It could be who hated Savannah. It could be who hated Cameron. It could be who hated Annie even. You never know.
Any sources telling me that, but I've told.
Okay, so interesting. So TMZ is saying that he doesn't have any sources telling him that, and Brian is saying that he doesn't have any sources saying that. But let's see what else Brian says. So their reporting is different than Reuters. Isn't Reuters, is that a Russian? Is that a Russian? Let me see here. Where is... Okay. Let's see here.
You guys before, I also don't have sources telling me that they think they are 100% real. What I have been told is that, all possibilities have to stay on the table right now, and they haven't been able to confirm it either way. Although if you look at my show and you go back and look at a lot of the experts and the retired profilers who I've interviewed and people like that, most of them have been very skeptical of the
Reuters comes from, originally it comes from London, but it's owned by Canada now. Okay, I did not know that. Did not know that.
Ransom notes since the beginning, and have thought that they don't necessarily make sense, that there was never any proof of life, and they have just sort of been skeptical of them, really since we started talking about them. Even those first two, and the first two are the ones that I have taken the most seriously. The first one that came that had some specific information about the inside of Nancy's house, and then the second one that said that Nancy died. Those are the ones that I have been told the FBI has taken.
I agree with that. I've always believed the two notes. Now, based upon what we know with the TMZ and now what Brian is reporting, that they can't say that they're real, they can't say that they're fake, even though Reuters is putting out that they're fake. I want to see, oops, wrong 1 second here. Why is it not populating? Okay, we're going to do another poll here in just a second. I want to see if your opinion has changed. Do you think the letters are real now? 1 yes, 2 no. No unsures. Just go with whichever one you're more pushing toward. FBI just released the official statement saying that they are real. Where do you see that, Weather Junkie? Let's see here. Nancy Guthrie, FBI. Okay, this is the Reuters one. Where did they say that, Weather? I haven't seen that at all.
The most seriously, those are the ones that Savannah Guthrie has said that she tends to believe are real. But now there is this Reuters report saying that they have a source who claims that the ransom notes are now not being viewed as real by the FBI, which, again, I'm just not sure how you could say that either way right now. If there's no suspect, and I just don't know how you...
Right. Very good point, right? If FBI, well, if law enforcement is saying there's just no suspect to begin with, how can you say something's real or not? You either got to know a hell of a lot more, which I think most of us do believe that, I think. Anything they can do to keep the case in the news. Maybe. Can't disregard the notes. I don't disregard them, especially the timing. Especially with the timing, right? Wait, Omic Derek, right here, has court tomorrow. And they've all wanted bitcoins. Thank you, Eileen. Peace, same here. Explains no ransom because was never planned for that. Maybe she scratched him. Maybe. It is crazy. It's so crazy. Matt Finn and Mary Coleman have posted the FBI. Oh, thank you so much. Let's go. Let me pull that up.
You can say 100% they're real or they're not real right now. So I don't have that reporting, but I think it's interesting reporting, so I wanted to bring it up. Also in this episode a little later, I am going to interview a DNA expert, really, really solid DNA scientist, about the latest on where things stand with the DNA from what we can tell, because remember— That's
amazing, Weather. Thank you for that. Look at this, guys. We're going to come right back to Brian Enton in just a second. Matt Finn, who is SPJ Investigate Chicago Headlines Club Best in-depth series. Okay. 19 minutes ago, breaking: FBI Phoenix officially pushes back on Reuters report and the notion that all the Guthrie notes are fake. Quote, The FBI and its task force partners have received several ransom notes over the course of this investigation. Some have been deemed to be extortion attempts without legitimacy. Other ransom demands may potentially be legitimate and are still being investigated as such. This case continues to be investigated as a kidnapping for ransom note. The FBI has and will continue to offer all assistance possible in the investigation. However, local authorities remain the lead. Very interesting that the FBI is pushing back on this. I think the FBI official that spoke to Reuters was referring only to the 3 notes TMZ received. I think Reuters just misinterpreted what the FBI is saying. I see you might be right, but I don't see, if you say you don't maybe they're saying, they're obviously saying some are fake here, and they, I guess, caught those people. But how are they, they're catching? All right, let's think of this. They're catching some of the people who's making the fake notes, but you're not catching the person who made the real notes? Come on. What did Nano say the other day about the notes? I can pull that up. I don't think that Reuters misinterpreted anything, and they had more than one source. Well, this is a quote from FBI Tucson right here. That I just read. Matt Finn 6 hours ago says, breaking: the FBI Director Kash Patel chooses not to comment on the new Reuters report that cites FBI sources who say that the Nancy Guthrie case ransom notes were fake. Patel said, quote, the locals are still in the lead, end quote. However, in the Reuters report, the Pima County Sheriff's Office deferred to the FBI on the ransom notes. Quote, a spokesperson for the Pima County Sheriff's Department, which is leading the overall investigation, declined to comment, citing its agreement to refer all inquiries regarding the ransom notes to the FBI, end quote. All worth noting, it appears that the Today Show stayed away from the Reuters reporting. Seems like everyone is staying away from the Reuters reporting. Okay, thank you, Suzy Q. Let's see here. Yeah, I heard yesterday that Savannah is going to leave again, as after the last note of TMZ upset her so bad, and she. Yeah, I've heard that she was leaving. Okay. Oh, here we go. Look at this, guys. Very interesting. Kash Patel today.
Reuters is reporting that the ransom notes that were sent regarding Nancy Guthrie's disappearance are fake. Are you able to confirm that those have been determined to be fake?
I'm not going to comment on that. We are continuing to assist that investigation. We've always been in an assist role. It's a state matter being led by the state authorities. Thank you.
Let's listen to that 20 seconds.
Reuters is reporting that the ransom notes that were sent regarding Nancy Guthrie's disappearance are fake. Are you able to confirm that those have been determined to be fake?
I'm not going to comment on that. We are continuing to assist that investigation. We've always been in an assist role. It's a state matter being led by the state authorities. Thank you.
Okay, we are getting it directly right now from Matt Finn, not Matt Finn, apologize, FBI, directly from FBI Phoenix right now. FBI Phoenix, 10 minutes ago, statement on Guthrie investigation. The FBI and its task force partners have received several ransom notes over the course of the investigation. Some have been deemed to be extortion attempts without legitimacy. Other ransom demands may potentially be legitimate and are still being investigated as such. This case continues to be investigated as a kidnapping for ransom. The FBI has and will continue to offer all assistance possible in the investigation. However, local authorities remain the lead. There you have it, folks. There you have it. Yeah. Cash responded correctly. FBI won't officially say anything, but FBI sources can leak info. They sure can. If the note were real, Perp could add away more detail to get people's attention. I mean, he says he will lead it on a silver platter, but so far he's not. Right? So far he's not. I do tend to think that they are real. I do tend to think that they are from the person. I do. But the majority of you guys in here, do you think the letters are real? 39 says yes. 61 says no. I'm reading between the lines and I feel this leak is legit. Very interesting. Very interesting. So we'll see what Reuters has to say about this. If they'll go a little bit, a little bit deeper into it. What did Fox say earlier? Let's see what Fox said here.
And a stunning development as the Nancy Guthrie investigation continues months later. According to a new report from Reuters, the FBI has determined that the ransom notes linked to her high-profile disappearance were fake.
Nope. Not true.
Matt Finn has more. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Dana. We are waiting to...
Okay, so now Matt is saying that they're not saying that. God, this is why this is so frustrating, man. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. The whole case is an odd spiraling crime. Someone is the wicked tiny mastermind. Yes. This was earlier what they were saying. I was trying to see what he was saying earlier. Let me see what Matt says here.
See if the FBI chooses to comment on this Reuters report that says the Nancy Guthrie ransom notes are bogus. The report broke late yesterday, citing two FBI sources who say the initial ransom notes that surfaced in news media about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance have been deemed to be, quote, fake communications. Now, the concept that any and all of the Guthrie ransom notes may be fake has been discussed. However, at this hour, it is not clear how the FBI may have definitively ruled out the ransom notes, as Reuters is reporting. It can be hard to keep track of, but there are a few notes and tips in relation to the Guthrie.
Okay, so Fox is saying the Reuters report, FBI conclusion backed by, quote, unspecified means, in
case,
quote.
Including recent communications sent to TMZ. In general, federal sources tell Fox that the original two notes that were sent to media are considered to be in a separate category from all the subsequent notes. The first two were coherent enough that federal investigators tested one of the Bitcoin accounts demanding a ransom by depositing a few $100s in the account, which was not withdrawn. Even Savannah Guthrie acknowledged the first two notes may be real.
And a stunning development as the Nancy...
Okay. Now, Savannah seems to think the first two letters are real. as well. They didn't say Fox had confirmed that. Yeah. And now we know that the FBI is saying that they are not saying that at all. So kind of makes you wonder, really does. Okay. Going to go to Sean Hannity now and show you this. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go.
And tonight, do we finally have a break in the search for Nancy Guthrie? Now, last week, TMZ said they received another ransom note in which the sender claimed to have video of the, quote, main guy in her kidnapping. But the sheriff out there, Nanos, well, his handling of the case has sparked a lot of criticism, was quick to dismiss the new alleged note. And here's what he had to say.
The FBI is partners with us in this investigation, and there are parts of this investigation that our team looks at and handles, maybe the DNA. There's parts that the FBI is dealing with. One of those is all the ransom notes. And we speak of two that were most recent.
Those are the
until this morning, those two were that someone believes may or may not have some legitimacy to them. And
okay, the FBI is partners with us in the investigation, and there are parts of the investigation that our team looks at and handles, maybe the DNA. There are parts that the FBI is dealing with. One of these in all the ransom notes is the ransom notes, and we speak of two that most recent until this morning. Two this morning, those two were that someone believes may or may not have some legitimacy to them, and the FBI is working that. So this was yesterday when this was put out, from what I understand. It wasn't today. Then Reuters says, not real. FBI Phoenix came out and said, no, we're not seeing that at all.
the FBI is working that. It is ongoing. And I think the FBI has done a number of arrests for false or fake ransom notes. It's a shame that that happens. But I think we're looking at another one of those today with.
Okay, what? Hold on. I didn't interrupted it. But now think about this. They can find the people that are faking the ransom letters, but you can't find the ones who aren't faking it. Alternative to smoking them out if they aren't real, what does that imply? It was never for money or wealth, but personal or close, maybe. I 100% believe they are shaking the trees with Harvey. Yep. We just read the FBI statement. We're going to go over it again. Someone just asked me. Okay, we'll pull it. We'll pull it in just a second.
What's been reported, but we'll let the FBI do their work.
Now, meanwhile, according to a new report, Savannah Guthrie was, quote, surprised and dismayed by people doubting that she would return to the Today Show after her mother's disappearance. Anyway, here with the latest developments, reaction. She is the host of Crime Stories on Fox 1, our friend Nancy Grace. Is this the same sheriff that was reluctant to bring in the FBI, that chose an independent lab over Quantico, that didn't bring in the FBI equipment that could have led them to the potential perpetrator earlier? Is that the same guy we should be listening to now?
Well, yes. That's exactly what we thought yesterday, right? That they had only arrested Derek. That's the only arrest we knew that happened. But Nanos is saying he believes the FBI has done a number of arrests. Why has nobody reported on that? So the investigation deposited a small amount of cryptocurrency into one of the Bitcoin wallets to see if anyone's controlling it would move the funds. Correct. Yes. Yes. Through electronics and DNA, they might be able. Yep. Number of arrests. Now listen to this right here.
Them to the potential perpetrator earlier. Is that the same guy we should be listening to now?
The very same. And you know, even a busted clock can be right twice a day. So here's Nanos giving his opinion that the most recent missives obtained by our friend Harvey Levin at TMZ, all a fake, completely discounted. I'm sure the FBI would like him, as I would, to be quiet, stop talking, shut your pie hole. Just go with me just one moment. What if the FBI agrees with Nanos that this recent round of missives to TMZ are all fake? What if they are all fake? What if they were using that as some type of a ploy, some type of a scam to smoke out the real perp? We don't know that. So the best thing Nanos can do to advance this investigation is to butt out.
Yes.
That said, we know Harvey Levin has received about 12.
And you and I know that, as Nancy said, a busted clock can be right twice a day, right? And ho, 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 Nanos. Ho, ho, ho.
Of these missives, and I'm not referring to the original ones that Savannah thought were real. The original ransom missives. These are more along the lines of extortion.
Yes.
The recent one says that.
I haven't heard that in ages, Lolo. I don't know whether to scratch my watch or wind my butt.
The extorter, the tipster, has access to a phone with a video or photo of Mrs. Guthrie with the main guy, the main kidnapper, that is in a safe place that's easy to find if you know where it is, and he will give it all up, including names and addresses for one Bitcoin. Tonight, that is $59,000 plus. So,
yeah, can I add one?
Why take 59 grand when you can get $1 million working with the feds? And one more thing about this, Sean. One reason I discount it, the feds could at least protect the tipster if he's real. What's Harvey Levin going to do? Hide him in the backseat of his Porsche? So none of this makes sense. And if it...
See, the FBI doesn't normally come out and say anything, Peace from Denise, and that's what's so rare. But I think in this case, because it's so high profile, they don't want that to be damaging to the case, saying no, these letters are fake. So that's why they came out and maybe made a comment. That's the only thing I can think of.
Doesn't make sense. It's probably not true.
Okay, Harvey Levin has been nothing but helpful and cooperative the entire way, and working with law enforcement the entire way. And he's been, but there's one other thing that has to happen here. I'm getting a little sick and tired of the attacks on Savannah, the attacks on her family, people making judgments. She goes back to work. What do they want her to do? And who are they to sit there in judgment of her?
They are nobody. And let me point out what I believe to be critical.
Listen, because I have no effing clue who did this. No effing clue. No, nobody does, maybe, but FBI and law enforcement. But I'm sorry, Sean. You've got to admit that they took their cars for 40 days. They went in there and with forensic teams, they didn't take anybody else's car for 40 days. So I understand she's a colleague of yours and all that. And I feel horrible for Savannah. But you gotta also remember why people feel the way they feel.
To her decision to go back to work. And the second, what she believes to be legitimate. She said she believes 2 of the notes were legitimate. We now know that in the second note and I don't like reporting this, Sean, that they learned Miss Guthrie died. She passed away. And I believe it was after that she went back to work because there was nothing more she could do. Her mom had passed away.
I agree.
She knew that as she's sitting there trying to smile and conduct interviews. We didn't know that. So, you never know until you walk in that person's shoes.
I mean, I wouldn't wish what happened to this family on my worst enemy. But a lot of people go back to work after their loved one dies. That's just life. Unfortunately, it is what it is sometimes. So I understand that there's no answers, and the no answers is haunting. But a lot of people go back to work.
Choose what she has gone through. I have defended her and her family from the beginning. I do not think they were part of this, and I still don't think that. But there are always haters out there, and Savannah is suffering for that right now.
Look, I understand that often the family has to be looked at. My understanding was, and I think you've confirmed this on the show many times, is that they all had ironclad, alibis. So they very quickly eliminated all of them.
The FBI hasn't said anything about that. Again, nanos, Sheriff Doofy, the one who was arresting protesters outside for speaking about the case, is the one who said that. He also said they were, he was taking messages from the family, reading messages while doing a press conference. And again, I will be the first to say, I don't think this is Tommaso. I certainly don't think it's Annie. I definitely don't think it's Cameron. And I definitely don't think it's Savannah. But again, you keep a car 40 some days, you go over there, you're in the house for hours, you go back to Nancy's that night, then you go searching in the neighbors' yards, their campers, their homes, all of that as well. That's weird. That's weird to me. And the thing is, like I always say, if Tommaso dropped Nancy off and he went back to his home. Okay. If Tommaso dropped Nancy off at her house, he came back home, he went to bed, there's cameras in the neighborhood, probably cameras at their house. Why did y'all go and look in their house? Why did you keep their car for 40 some days? What about the mercy? What did Clippy say? I definitely don't believe the wrench. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Not a second.
As any potential suspect. Is that true?
Yes, and of course we know Savannah was in a different state, the brother Cameron in a different state, and I can assure you that the feds have looked at all the digital evidence surrounding Sister Annie and her husband and have confirmed their stories.
And apparently they were loving to their mother.
Well, respectfully, Nancy, I hear you and I understand that, but the FBI has still not said anything on that. Let's just be real on that, right? Okay. Now, for those of you guys just joining us, I do want to, because someone asked me to show this again. 21 minutes ago, FBI, Brian retweeted this as well. FBI Phoenix 30 minutes ago, statement on Guthrie investigation. The FBI and its task force partners have received several ransom notes over the course of this investigation. Some have been deemed to be extortion attempts without legitimacy. Other ransom demands have potentially be legitimate and are still being investigated as such. The case continues to be investigated as the kidnapping for ransom case. The FBI has and will continue to offer all assistance possible in the investigation. However, local authorities remain the lead, and that is FBI Phoenix. Always last person seen with the missing is always suspected at first. They did their due diligence, in my opinion. Another thing that, again, I'm not saying anybody did this, but you cleared them, okay? Didn't Nanos clear them even while they were searching their car for 40 some days? Were the cameras really installed right before Nancy was reported missing? Hadn't heard that. If so, why were they being installed? Interesting. Okay. Let's go to Brian on this. Talking about that Reuters, and I think he has a guest right here. Let me put up the thing again. Brian Inton. Guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, doing all that good stuff. Of course, they had to check them. He cleared them when the car was being repaired, I believe. I'm just not sure about the repair thingy. I'm just not. I don't know.
We were talking for a long time about the DNA, the fact that they were able to get that hair from inside Nancy's house, that rootless hair, and other DNA samples. Where do things stand? We talked about it all the time. We heard about it all the time, and then it just kind of went away. He's going to explain what the delay may be. And it actually surprised me because what I thought was slowing things down is not what he thinks is slowing things down. So that's an interesting conversation that's coming up a little bit later in the episode. But first, I wanted to talk about something Mark Garagos said, which I talked about a while ago, but he just brought it up again on News Nation. I'm going to play you that clip in a second. He has brought up the fact that he believes that if someone out there knows what happened to Nancy and isn't necessarily the person who actually took her, could they work some kind of deal through a lawyer with law enforcement to avoid a prosecution or to avoid serious charges in exchange?
Now, I don't know where Brian is going with this, but there are reports out there that believe this person is trying to avoid potentially the death penalty because they said in the letter that Nancy might have died of a heart attack and that, there was nothing that they could have, the family could have done to avoid this. It just kind of one of those things. And that makes you think like, oh, the person that's, writing this ransom letter, oh, I didn't do it. It was a natural occurrence, right? But you just buried her, right, sir or ma'am, whoever you are. So, I don't know. In Arizona, highly unlikely. This is, especially if they traveled through interstate or whatever, will be federal. And I know Trump said something on this, and I believe Cash did, that they said that they will pursue the death penalty. Unless there was a note left at the house or they got something within the first 12 hours, I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it was for ransom either. Yes, there was a rootless hair was discovered supposedly inside Nancy's house, but there's no updates about the DNA. Correct. Yeah. Taking her away, her meds. And that's a good point, right? Like you say, you know, nothing could have, you know, this couldn't have been avoided. Well, it could have been if you didn't kidnap her, number one. And again, if you actually cared, you would have taken her medicine. Right. So that, again, it just tells me, in my opinion, this was not done for ransom. Just wasn't done for ransom. Think she's hidden in plain sight.
For coming forward with information. And those deals do happen. You get a good lawyer and they can go to law enforcement and work out. There could be some kind of arrangement. Is that what it will take to get things moving in this case? And would the FBI and local law enforcement be open to that? I want to play for you what Mark Geragos said on News Nation again. I just thought it was interesting. It got me thinking again. I'd thought about this a while ago when Mark brought it up, but now Mark's brought it up again. And I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to think about.
I don't understand why this person doesn't go to a lawyer if they're legitimate. Tell the lawyer, look, I know where this stuff is. Why don't you broker some kind of a deal for me? Do a reverse proffer, do some kind of arrangement with law enforcement, lead them to this, give me some kind of protection or cloak of immunity, and get this done. That's the hesitation I have over giving too much stock in trade over this. The right lawyer could broker this thing if it is true and if the person is worried about the consequences, even if they believe they would be threatened by the people who they are basically informing on. There's ways to protect you. You've already, if it's true that you have this information and you're worried about informing on somebody, there are ways to handle that. So I'd encourage you, if you're not a fraudster, to do it. If you are a fraudster, it's not going to end well.
Well, you got to remember, this guy or gal who is reporting that they have this on a silver platter is saying they're not involved, which is bullshit. There's just, what was you just sitting there recording on your phone while this took place? No way. You have to, in my opinion, you have to be involved if you have this information. I don't think this is an ex or whatever at all. Not in this case. I think sometimes an ex will come out, but they're just going to go tell the truth. They're not going to ask for a Bitcoin. We can't even get a straight answer. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is on the case, or the FBI is on the case. Well, Pima County says refer to the FBI. Yeah, I know, Deborah. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. And we can't get a straight answer from, FBI. They don't say anything generally.
So just something really interesting to think about. They have our info. Church, which again I've talked about. They submitted a 41-page plan to the Pima County Sheriff's Office several times, saying, "Look, we want to go out and search for Nancy. Yeah. We don't want to interfere with law enforcement, but we want your permission. We want your blessing. We want your advice on where to search. We have teams that we can send out there, dogs, aerial drones, etc." And they've never gotten permission from the Pima County Sheriff's Office, and that is still the case. Yep. And Brian Thrasher who is with United Cajun Navy, was on News Nation once again talking about that, saying
We
they
were
still
going to talk about that yesterday, but we didn't have enough time. But
haven't gotten permission even up
listen
until
to
this
this.
day. And he was just on again, so I wanted to play a little bit of that.
Juxtaposition.
So this is United Cajun Navy again. Hasn't been seemingly a lot of searches of Nancy at all, and Pima County, EquiSearch, all of them want to go there and search for Nancy at no cost to the taxpayer, no cost to anybody. They run strictly on donations, and he won't even Sheriff Nonads, Sheriff Doofy McDooferson, won't even have the decency to call him back.
For what we would do versus the sheriff's office, because we're not privy to everything that they've done or what they may not have done. But like I said, we're very good at search and rescue. We have a lot of resources we could have brought to the area, other partner groups that we work with
that's interesting.
in the area or willing to come to the area and help us search. I think early on, when we were closer to the abduction date, it would have been a lot more beneficial. At this point, I mean, I hate to say it, but at this point, you'd just be looking for remains, which would be valuable to the family to be able to have that closure. But that for some reason, they just decided they were not going to take the outside help.
So I just thought that was interesting that they still haven't really had a dialogue, the United Cajun Navy with the Pima County Sheriff's Office. And look, I get that the Sheriff's Office and the FBI probably don't want outsiders getting involved, but what harm is there in letting them search parts of the desert? Who knows? You may, and I've said this before, they may find something connected to another case, help solve another case. Who knows? But I just thought that was interesting that Brian Thrasher was on again, and that this is apparently still a thing. They still would like to do the search, and they still haven't gotten permission from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Okay, let me get into the DNA now. Questions about where things stand. We know that there's this rootless hair that was found in Nancy's house, that we know that there was DNA found that does not belong to Nancy or anyone within her inner circle. What is taking so long, and is it going to pan out? I did an interview with Dr. Hampikian, who is one of the top experts when it comes to DNA. He has helped solve other big cases, and I wanted him to explain to me the process, what is taking so long. And again, it surprised me, the part that is taking so long, and where he thinks things will go from here, and whether it will end up being DNA that sort of comes to the rescue in this case. So here's my full conversation with him. Dr. Hampikian, thank you so much for talking with me. Really, really appreciate it. I was really interested in talking to you because one of the things I keep hearing, I've been covering the Nancy Guthrie case since the beginning, and people are wondering, like, what about the DNA? Like, what is taking so long? Because I think people thought, when we heard they had a hair strand and we heard that they got some other stuff from the house, that, that maybe there would be something pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, DNA, like all information, has a certain content, and the shorter the pieces of DNA that we're recovering, the shorter the matches to databases, the longer it takes. So it's kind of like if we found, an envelope in the street and a bunch of the letters on the address were erased. The fewer letters there are, the longer it's going to take to find out who might match that particular address. So what we know about in this case is that they have one common challenge, which is they're calling it a mixed sample. And that just means more than one person contributed. It could be two people, or it could be a complex mixture. Generally, we start calling it that at 3. And at that point, it's not like an envelope with the address partially there. It's like a bowl of Scrabble letters. And you can, a lot of potential people can match the short amount, the small amount of information you have from a small piece of DNA. And in a mixture, it's complicated because there's several people's small chunks of DNA, and you end up having to go through a lot of leads. So if they're getting a hit, if they have data, which I assume by now from both the mixed stain people are talking about and the hair fragment, they have data.
I mean, it's been what, 5 months going on 6 months. You know that they have information on that now, that hair and all of that, right? But they haven't said, which is interesting, they have not said whether anything has came back on this, on the DNA, or any of the testing they have done. And if the FBI, in my opinion, hasn't said it was a nothing burger, sometimes they, you know, they're just, they keep quiet. And to me, that tells me they have something, in my opinion. You can't have hair and it be mixed, right? No, not that I'm aware of. Right? Only 467 likes on one. Is that both chats? Come on, guys, hit the thumbs up, please. Please. If it was just one piece of planted evidence, it was just one piece of planted evidence after another. You can have DNA on the hair from someone else. I mean, yeah, like if they touched it, I guess. Yeah. I am still asking the same question. Why hasn't the sheriff allowed volunteer search? Exactly. We just got a member. Radiance, welcome to the Pearl family, my dear. Appreciate you. Welcome. Good little lad. Thank you so much, dear. Cute little pooch. Appreciate you. Welcome to the Pearl family. Radiance, good to see you, my darling. Thank you so much. I agree with you, Justin. FBI is probably still upset with nanos. Well, like, for instance, they just came out and said about this letter, we've arrested others, fakers, but with this one, we're, not sure. We're not sure on. With the test, why haven't they said it's a nothing burger or the DNA or it's something? Well, they're not going to come out and say it's something until there's an arrest. And if it was nothing, you would think that we would get something and say that, it's just nothing. Unfortunately, we're going to have to try somewhere else.
And it's probably either partial data or not well represented in the database. So it's either chopped up like I was talking about, or it's from perhaps an ethnic group that is less represented in the genealogy database. And that would be anything but Caucasians. Western Europeans in general, are white Europeans are the ones who've participated in the genealogy more than other groups. So yeah, that could be
probably not
part of what's
possible,
making this take a lot longer.
Yeah, and we have no idea, obviously, who the suspect is or what their background is. I'm just thinking that part of the country, it's very close to Mexico. There's a lot of Hispanic people in that area. Again, I have no idea if it's a Hispanic person. But if it was, would that make it more difficult from a DNA side?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, if it were German, Scandinavian, British roots, they're very well represented in the databases. And I'm not sure about particular, Hispanic populations. Those are going to vary in different places and how represented they are. We studied, for example, the Basque population, a European population here in Idaho.
Well, and you got to remember that from what we understand, there was nothing that came back with CODIS, right? And let's think about that a second. And this just kind of makes me confused a little bit more. You would think if some of the DNA came back with CODIS, that Luke would be in CODIS, right? He's had a bunch of different crime against him, but they were also at his house. I think that they really fucked up in the
compared them to
beginning.
pockets around the world. Well, there's several people who are experts in the Basque population DNA. So it depends very much on what population they're from, and is there anybody from that in the database. Otherwise, the FBI or whoever's handling this has, potentially hundreds of thousands of suspects or people in the population who might match a small bit of genealogical data.
And forgive me if I only know the basics on DNA, so I hope I'm trying to be clear on my questions, but I hope they make sense. But so it sounds like you're saying they've probably already extracted the data from the DNA by now.
Yeah.
But what's taking so long is trying to compare it with all the different databases. Is that right?
To get a let's say you get a hit to a database. So the way that happens is it's a bunch of people in the database. If my father were in the database, there would be big chunks of his DNA that match me, because the DNA over generations accumulates mutations and breaks. And when it's father-son, if your father's in the database, well, they're going to find you in 5 minutes if your son's in the database. But if you have to go further out, then the length of the DNA that we have in common at any one point is getting smaller and smaller as I go to further and further distant relatives. And at about fourth cousin or so, fourth degree cousin, it just falls apart. It looks like random, at least with the technology I'm familiar with and that most genealogists would use. So if they're not getting a hit to a father or a first cousin in the database, a second cousin, then they're going to have just people that will be easy to compare.
Now, you also have to remember that if this person is doesn't have a long history of someone in the United States, like they don't have a genealogy heritage with people in the United States, then it's going to be a much harder, much more difficult time for them to find this person as well, because in the United States we have a lot of databases and stuff, but let's say this person is an immigrant or whatever, that makes it much more difficult, because, like, for instance, if they're from the Middle East, those databases, it's not like it is here in the United States. I am quite good at genealogy research in the DNA. If some close relative has not tested, it takes a long time. Yep. They will most likely eventually catch them with genealogy, but it's a lot of sitting at your desk going through it.
To that and eliminate, but trying to do it from just a database without a reference sample, without a suspect sample, it takes a long time.
So you're saying once you get out to fourth cousin is where is it just kind of unusable?
Well, so what happens is our DNA, when a man makes a sperm cell or a woman makes an egg cell, I'm taking my parents' chromosome number 1 from dad, chromosome number 1 from mom, and I'm doing a break. And so the DNA that I give my children is shuffled, if you will. The chromosomes are cut in half, mixing my parents. And so we go from having a piece this big with me and my sons to something about half as big to their children, and then half as big. And as you get a smaller and smaller piece, there's more people in the database who will match that. So there's so many ways to explain the same thing. But what I'd say is, like, anybody interested, it's a very easy YouTube to Google. Just Google forensic genetic genealogy or forensic investigative genealogy. There's a lot of names.
The hair sample, I've been told is rootless. How much more complicated does that make it if there's no root on the hair? And like, why is that important?
So our hair is mostly a protein called keratin, and trapped within that are broken dead cells with
Thank you, Patty, for
broken
the heart, babe.
DNA.
Thank you for the gift.
And so we don't get the nice, perfect image that we get when we work with normal cells in the body. Hair's hard to get DNA that's...
If the DNA they have is even related to the case, this is a serious doubt in my mind that the hair sample doesn't belong to just a guest in the house of some time. The thing about the hair that worries me is Pima County didn't find the hair, right? And what they did was they released the house, and then the FBI came back in, and the FBI found the hair. And I'm afraid, even if that is the perpetrator's hair, that the defense will argue, Pima County went in there, they released that, anybody could have went in there, that could have that one single hair could have been transferred with, such and such, God only knows what, and then the FBI comes in and magically finds a hair. So that's what really, really worries me on that. It could be. I hope I think it would be from Pima County, if anybody, but because FBI knows what they're really doing. But that really worries me. That's what really worries me, and I'm afraid that it may not stick. And if that one fucking hair doesn't stick, you're going to have something else, right? You need a fingerprint, some saliva, some DNA, some other DNA in that house or on Nancy if she's found, which that, in my opinion, if Nancy is buried in nature, which she most likely is, the DNA is already degraded. Most of it's already degraded because it's been nearly 6 months. So we'll have to see. Yes, Amanda. It's Pima, there was absolutely no rush for them to release that. Nobody needed to go back in there. Family didn't need to go back in there. Nobody needed to go back in there. He released it. And then the FBI is like, okay, we'd like to go in now. Oh yeah, vehicle identification, all of that. You're going to need multiple layers of the person or persons who did this, right? It's not just one thing that's, the nail in the coffin, so to speak. It's usually a layer of multiple factors. Oh, it's so bad. Thought it would be solved quickly. A lot of people did noodle, but I think it would have been if Nanos would have stopped being pardon my French, a bitch, and took this really seriously in the beginning and let the FBI do what they needed to do.
So there are new techniques, and actually there's a company that was formed that did a lot of the early work on this. It's called Estrella. And the reason that company was formed was Dr. Ed Green, who was a professor who I got to know. I asked him if he would work on a small piece of hair, a case we had with just a small bit of pubic hair from a 9-year-old girl's body who had been raped and killed. And it was a 40-year-old sample. And a man had served wrongfully for 20 years on death row here in Idaho. And so we're trying to find the real person who left this pubic hair. And so I asked Ed, because Ed Green is the first author on the Neanderthal genome that was published, but lots and lots of authors, but Ed did a lot of the computer work on that. And I thought, if you can work with ancient DNA from Neanderthals, why can't you get the same thing from hair? They're both very broken up bits of DNA. And so Ed took that on as a challenge, and then decided to form a company, Estrella, to do just this, just forensic cases and missing person cases, when the only thing is rootless hairs. And now that technology has spread to several other companies, private companies that do it for the government. And the technology at the FBI, as far as I know, is the standard technology we're all using. It's stuff you buy, from companies. Once you get that sequence, and some people are better than others at getting the sequence, then it's a genealogy project for the people who go to libraries and check public documents.
Let me check.
Who interview family members when they're close to a large fragment match. And it's a lot of gumshoe work, a lot of detective work once you get that data. But the data probably didn't take that long to get. It's a week or so to just clean it up and get the data. And then after that, it's trying to follow these small genealogy maps to potentially hundreds of thousands of people initially. And then you figure out, well, what age, was the person who left this evidence? Well, they're not a child, they're not somebody who's ancient, probably 100-year-old. So you narrow the band, and it's just a lot of thinking. People do great work.
So do you think they would have been able to get some kind of DNA off of the hair,
Okay,
even
we got
if it
some
was
new
rootless?
stuff in. Trump just spoke on this. We'll come right back to this in just a minute. Trump just spoke on the Guthrie case, coming from Fox.
President, you promised Savannah Guthrie's family the full support of federal law enforcement. FBI is now.
I'll give you a little statement. I think we're doing very well on that regard. You're probably surprised to hear that. I think we're doing very well. Very well, meaning we have some clues, I think, that are very strong. And I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Well, so he says, I think, we're doing very well, and that I think we have some answers coming up soon. I thought it was too, YouTuber, but I think this one is new. There was one in the
nationwide search. Is this a search going to Mexico?
I'm talking about a search. I'm talking about a solution. We have some things I think that will maybe come out reasonably soon from DOJ or FBI or whoever that could be could be definitive. A lot's taken place in the last couple of hours. A lot of things have happened with regard to that horrible situation in the last couple of hours.
This one might be old. I don't know. Okay, Pima County put out a statement as well, Chris Nanos. Throughout the investigate, let me make it bigger for you guys. Throughout the investigation, the Pima County Sheriff's Department has received information regarding potential ransom notes related to the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. Every tip and lead is taken seriously, is forwarded directly to our detectives who continue to work coordination with the FBI. Any questions regarding alleged ransom notes should be directed to the FBI. We appreciate the public's continued cooperation and the information provided throughout the investigation. Anyone with information that may assist investigators is encouraged to contact the FBI 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit an anonymous tip at 88-CRIME. Sheriff Doofy. Sheriff Doofy right there. So there's that. Hold on, I just got something else. Okay, and that just want to show you came from the Pima County Sheriff's Office 17 minutes ago. Pima County Sheriff's Office 17 minutes ago. So now the FBI has spoken about this, and Pima County sheriffs have spoken about this as well. I got one more thing coming up in just a second.
Standard now, and depending on which company you go with, I keep asking them what their efficiency is. But with a small bit, 2 centimeters of hair, just a small bit of hair, if that's what's left, they ought to be able to do it and get a full read. Some companies tell me 40% of the time. I think there are others who are getting like 75% success rate. So
okay.
Yeah.
So the chances are good.
That's good.
What makes one company so much better at it than another?
It's hard to know, and I don't know. I don't want to say even companies. It's temporary. It's a small. You just have to keep asking people who are doing casework. How did they do? How clean is the data? And it keeps changing. So it's not like I know Ed Green, and this is no I haven't done a lot of studies on these hairs, but I know Ed's done great work for us through Estrella, and I haven't done a comparison, but it depends who's handling it. These corporations are big people. Every lab has its A students, right? Every lab had its C students, and they probably got D's and F's after a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't know. There's a lot of luck involved, and once you find an analyst you trust at a company you trust, you tend to stick with them.
So I'm just curious, the case you were talking about in Idaho, where you are where the innocent person was let go, and you had this one hair that was rootless. What ended up happening?
So a bit of a crazy story. So Charles Fain, who was exonerated by a hair through mitochondrial analysis that excluded him, but they couldn't match to anyone. It's a very low information type of DNA analysis. So he was freed in 2000, I believe, before I came to Boise. And then I got to Boise State, started the Innocence Project at Boise State, found this exoneree guy who'd spent 20 years on death row, talked to him and told him I'd try to get a bill passed where he might get some money for his wrongful conviction. And he said, I just want to find out who did it. And so I said, well, yeah, I'll try. And I called the detective. There was actually someone who'd retired, I guess. I finally get to somebody who has kind of the really cold cases. And I said, I'd like to work with you. I'm working with Charles Fain. And so they would bring hairs to me at my lab because they had this mitochondrial sequence from suspects that they thought are people of interest. And we would sequence them and then help them eliminate suspects. But all we did was eliminate, and I felt that was a good use of my time. And I kept saying the technology is going to get better because we knew we had this little bit of pubic hair. But nobody at that time was able to get any great information from a hair without a root. And then the way that this actually happened was there was a group of filmmakers, documentarians who wanted to do a DNA story on the Hatfields and McCoys. So during winter break, I went out to West Virginia and Kentucky, and we sampled beside graves to get some DNA from supposed Hatfield graves, and we're trying to find one of the only man who was ever hung for this crime, Cotton Tops, trying to find his grave. And the guy that they brought to help me do this, or to work with me, was Ed Green, and I didn't recognize his name. I probably should have. He's a great scientist. So we were hammering these pipes into the ground, and it's raining. And
what is this? What is this thing? Ruby, happy birthday, my love. Happy birthday. Love you, darling. What is this thing that came out about Zach? I'm not sure if I believe it. Hold on. Did y'all see this? Someone just sent it to me. Did any of you guys see this? I'm saying questions and I'm documenting them publicly. Here's what I've known of physical. Did y'all see this? Nancy Guthrie investigation, law enforcement briefing, prepared for Zach, prepared for Elaine, Stella, hand delivery dish. I don't believe this. This is AI. No. Someone sent this to me and I just want to show you. This is AI writing. Nope. Sorry, that's not Brian Ensign. Nope. Don't believe it. At all. At all.
And somebody fires
That's AI
a
writing.
shotgun because they don't want us messing with these graves, I guess. And I asked Ed, what do you do? And he's
That's
like,
100%
I work on
AI.
Neanderthal DNA. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, of course, you're that, Ed. And so we got talking. And I said, I got this hair from this case. And, I swore to Charlie to that I'd try to find out who it is. And, it'd be really
We'll come back to
wonderful
this in
if
just a
we could
second. I want to go to Reuters because they are the ones who originally put this out about the 1 second. Okay. I want to see what they say about this. They released this today. And let me pop this up. I want to see what they say about Nancy Guthrie. Here we go. Okay, this was 13 hours ago. Now, again, they're the ones that are saying that the ransom is fake letters. Federal investigators say that all three notes linked to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, are fake, raising questions about whether she was abducted for ransom.
Federal investigators say all three kidnapping-related notes linked to the disappearance of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother are fake. That includes two messages that surfaced shortly after 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her Tucson, Arizona home in late January, as well as a more recent note from someone claiming to know the kidnappers' identities. That's according to an FBI official who spoke to Reuters on Tuesday. The official added that the first two notes came...
Hold on, what?
Spoke to Reuters on Tuesday. That's according to an FBI official who spoke to Reuters on Tuesday.
That's according to an FBI official who spoke to Reuters on Tuesday, so that was yesterday. They've had to misunderstand, in my opinion.
The official added that the first two notes came from the same sender, but investigators determined the author was not connected to Guthrie's disappearance. How the FBI drew that conclusion was unspecified. One of those notes reportedly demanded millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. In an effort to test its authenticity, the FBI deposited a small amount of crypto into an account specified in the message. The money was never claimed. The findings now raise fresh questions about whether Nancy Guthrie was abducted for ransom at all. The Pima County Sheriff's Department, which is leading the investigation, declined to comment on the notes, but says the case remains active. Authorities say DNA evidence and video footage collected during the investigation are still undergoing forensic analysis. Nancy Guthrie vanished on January 31st. DNA testing later confirmed that blood found on her front porch belonged to her. Savannah Guthrie has repeatedly appealed for information about her mother.
Yeah, Reuters is going to have to... I'm still not buying the camera knew immediately upon the scene this was a kidnapping for ransom scenario. No, not yet. I agree. There's a lot of weirdness. Guys, I am going to end it here. I think Chris is going live now on the Nancy Guthrie case. I will be back here shortly. If you don't go over there, I will be live. We're going to be talking about Jack and Lily Sullivan. Daniel has a date soon, but it's with the courts, and we got a lot to talk about here in just a little bit. So if you want to come hang out with me in a little bit, it'll be about an hour from now, about 9 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out with me. We'll be talking about Jack and Lily Sullivan out of Pictou County, Nova Scotia. Haven't got to speak on them for a week or two now, and got to keep them in the spotlight as well. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys about an hour from now. If you want to come hang out with me, I will be talking about that. With the Nancy Guthrie case, it just gets more confusing every day. It's so frustrating. So I think Chris is going live now. The interview room with Chris McDonough. All right, Deb. All right, guys. Much love, everyone. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye-bye.